Welcome back to the realest channel on YouTube. Today is something very different, something that I have actually never done before. As you know, in life, we will go through many things, we will go through a ton of things, and sometimes we don't talk about it. Sometimes we don't open up about it, let alone open up about it to the world and open up about it on camera. That's a whole new challenge, but something that I've taken on by doing my partnership with Movember. I know Movember to most people is when the guys shave off everything and keep their mustache, but why are they actually doing that? Who are those people behind that cause? And to answer simply, they're here to help men in particular. You know, it's there's a big stigma that men have to be tough and they can't speak about their emotions, but in turn that actually makes us weaker. And being one of those people who follow those behaviors and do the exact same thing, when Movember approached me to make some content after showing me how they're helping people with their mental health and how the first thing to do is to get people to open up and speak, with the amount of people that I can reach out to and enlighten on, you know, such things, it was a no-brainer for me to take part. You guys know that I've recently suffered an injury that's kept me out of the biggest fight of my career, and physically we know what that means. I can't fight, I can't get in the ring, I can't train to my optimal ability. But what effect does that have on me mentally as an athlete? This is something that we don't discuss because it's often dismissed, and people often just want to see the brutality and proof of an injury, but they don't really dive into the side of things that controls everything, which is your brain, which is your mental state, which is how you feel up here. And I'm going to share a bit of that with you and how this year in general has had an effect on my mental state. COVID, very difficult time for everybody. Having lack of the opportunity to socialize and be around your loved ones plays a huge factor. But COVID affected me in a different way to how it affected everybody else. With my career being based out in the States, I made the decision to move there to further pursue my professional career. So, you know, I ended up getting a nice house there, and I got a house size that was accommodating for my family to come and visit. Obviously, with COVID on the horizon and being very much present, there's been a ton of travel bans, there's been a ton of restrictions that have been put in place worldwide. So I ended up being in this big home in Vegas alone, feeling very isolated and having a true lack of support around me from my family and loved ones that have been around me for years. And that plays a huge factor on my mental state and your training and your actual focus on what needs to be done on a day-to-day, because you just have that lack of support. And then you don't want to be that guy that's complaining, you don't want to be that guy that's texting everyone and FaceTiming everyone to try and get some attention and saying you're lonely, because it doesn't seem like the manly thing to do. And all of us fall into that trap, but really it takes you to be more of a man to do what I'm doing today, which is actually to sit down and be open and be transparent with people who may need to hear this. I feel like everyone needs to hear that someone else is going through something, because then they can realize that they're not alone in this. And that's what Movember are excellent at doing, is bringing and uniting men together to realize that you're not the only one that's going through this. Don't be afraid to talk about it. And with the injury as well, suffering the injury that I have and how severe it is, and also just, you know, I have my team out in Vegas who do their best they can, but nothing can can replace your father, your mother, your uncles, your aunties, your cousins, your close friends that grow up from childhood. No one and nothing can replace those people. They have that place in your life for a reason. And when I'm in Vegas and I'm training and I suffered the injury, and there's certain people you just want to hug and be there face to face, they can't be there. And it makes it extremely difficult and extremely mentally taxing to fulfill everything that needs to be done when you're in that mental state, and it's just one of those things. I think another side of injury that people dismiss is your future. The mental effects it has on the athlete and what they think about their future. How long am I going to be out the ring? Will this injury be permanent? Will this injury stop my career? Will this be something that I have to consistently deal with? And that side of injuries I feel is the toughest part. Working with my physio, Harvey, he often makes it clear to me that a lot of the injuries are gone sooner than you feel. But that's just because mentally you are so used to feeling pain there. You're used to being very protective over that area, very sensitive to anything that happens in that area, because that's where you've had the trauma before. That's where you felt the pain before. And if I don't talk and I don't reach out and use my team and my family around me during this time where I'm not getting the best reviews, I'm not getting the best comments, I'm not getting the best feedback on my decision. I've seen the comments of me being called a coward, or big opportunity and he's blown it and stuff like that. It's not nice to see. I understand it comes with the territory, and I've definitely experienced some things in my life that are worse than a few comments, but it still can have its effect. And sometimes it's an underlying effect. If you don't talk on it, it may affect you more than you actually realize. And that's something that I've experienced in life also. Things that can be dealt with and be minimized through communication. If you don't say anything, it grows, and it gets worse. And we all end up in that state where we just want to blow up last minute and just have an outrage. And it doesn't need to get to that point. Or on the adverse side, we can break down and start to enter into states of depression, which is also no one is immune to. No one is immune to that. And no one is really that far away from being in that position. Another thing I've had to tackle this year, a loss of my friend Sam, very dear friend to me. Friend since the beginning of my boxing career. Everyone knows how long I've been boxing. I've been boxing since I was 2 years old, been going to the gym since 6 years old. I met Sam at 8 years old. So you can really understand the length of our friendship. We boxed for the same club. We've multiple times, we've moved club, I've moved club, he's moved club, I've moved club. We kind of were always in the same place. Down to West Ham, the final destination where we ended up being. He ended up coaching out of there. I ended up coaching out of there, and then fighting. It's just, we've been interlinked for many years, way over a decade. And, I lost him this year. And you would have seen a few posts maybe on social media. I don't want to go into too much depth because it's not me personally, but the effects that had on me, I also tried to dismiss. I tried to just focus on training and dedicate my fight to him. That was one of my things on my fight attire. I was having my tribute, and on my shorts I had my tribute for him. And my first mind was, okay, I'm in training camp. I know I've lost you, but I'm gonna focus on making this fight a tribute for you. Not actually how sad it made me. Not actually, wow, realizing the situation that he's gone. And the little banter that me and him would have every time we entered the gym will be no longer, and we'll never have that again. I didn't really go into that side of things, but a few weeks, I'd say a month after him passing, that's when it really hit me. When I actually accepted the emotions of how I felt towards losing him. And when you do that, it's difficult, but I did feel a lot better afterwards. And I haven't really broken down as much over the situation after my emotions. I let my emotions get that high and I let it out. And I feel like that's the key. I feel like that's what everyone needs to get from this is, as a man, you don't have to suffer in silence. And with what Movember are doing through starting off in the community, getting people like myself to reach out to my community, conversations with their workers, just a range of things that are helping us as men become more open and feel like it's acceptable to speak on our emotions, is everything that Movember is doing. So I want to thank Movember for supporting this video and sponsoring this video. I want to thank them for supporting the dads, the brothers, the uncles, the cousins. And if you want to find out more about what they do, or you feel you can get some help from what they do, then click the links in the description. I have more content coming with Movember. I have another video coming. I think I'm gonna have a conversation with JJ and talk about how boxing, what mental effect it had on him when we decided to go to Vegas and train for his second fight against Logan, and maybe just overall the effect that boxing had on him, because it's very mentally taxing and it's a lot of pressure. So I'm gonna bring that video to you guys soon. I hope today you got more of an insight into me just being honest with you, and you realizing I'm not this invincible guy that's always happy and always level-headed and always has everything straight, because I'm not. You guys help me get myself back to where I need to be, because I feel like I'm responsible as Viddal Riley to deliver to you guys. But it's not always easy, and I do have a very strong support network in my family who I go to, and friends who I go to keep me in a position able to give you guys the best content. So click the links in the description. Understand Movember are doing something great for men, and we're changing this traditional thought of not being able to talk. Like and subscribe always. And if you don't know what I do at the end of videos,